Greetings. Hi. Hello. I'm Sir Sugar Meat, and I'm here to provide my thoughts on yet more pointless internet slang. So the other day, I was watching the first season of the show called Hacks, mostly out of boredom and because that show tends to plague my city with a lot of billboards. So I finished that first season, thought about how I laughed only sometimes, and when my partner asked me if I wanted to watch the next season, I was like, it's kinda mid though. But then I stopped to think, am I really not gonna watch the rest of the show just cause it's average? I don't have much else to do at the moment, so like, wouldn't I want the entertainment? Is just okay such a terrible thing to be?
Please don't make me do math right now.
Well, if you look at how other people on the internet use and react to the word mid, yeah, it kinda seems like it. I recently watched this video titled Ghost of Tsushima is Mid, that critiqued the video game Ghost of Tsushima, obviously. And while I personally like that game, I thought much of the criticism within the video was valid. This plug guy basically talked about how a lot of the combat and stealth mechanics in the game were repetitive and lacking, and showed examples from his own gameplay to support his claims. It didn't necessarily change my opinion of the game because I personally valued the beautiful graphics and more so enjoyed the feel of the combat, but holy shit, the ratio on this video and the commenters here are acting like he was on a complete hate train of the game, which isn't true by the way. He did talk about how the general story is pretty good at the end of the video, but just the gameplay itself wasn't quite matched in quality. But this video brought up several questions for me. Why does a piece of media being average or overrated provoke people to go on critical rants about said media? And why do others have a fierce reaction to those people going on those rants? And I think there are layers to this. Let's start with the latter concept. How people react to the term mid, or even the concept of something being overrated. I'm gonna start with a simple and common reason I see, and that is the term mid, or the criticism of something being overrated in general, is so frequently used that it's annoying, which I feel like isn't really a criticism unique to the word mid. That can be for any slang that people frequently use, like cringe, or back in the day when people were saying literally in like literally every sentence. You're always gonna have older folks or people who think language has rigid rules arguing against slang like these. But when it comes to the annoyance of the that thing is overrated criticism, there's the claim that people who make this type of criticism are just hard to please, which can be true. There are internet contrarians out there who like to hate on things that are popular just because they have that pretentious hipster mentality. And you know, admittedly, people who are routinely cynical are tiring to be around. Not that it's exactly popular, nor is it a stupid show, but I did feel like that cynical person when I was watching Hacks. There wasn't anything about the overall quality of the show that I could overtly complain about, but did I consider making a rant video about how this show is yet another example of how Gen X writers tend to get zillennials wrong? Yeah, I very much did. I am begging the writers to please give Ava better jokes. There are way more things that zillennials joke about other than American healthcare and queerness.
Tell me, what exactly do people think millennials are entitled to?
Oh God, here we go.
Expensive ass healthcare?
I feel like since the rise of internet criticism essays being a thing, we're starting to get this divide in attitudes between a demand for better media and letting people like whatever the hell they want to like. Now, does one side have more validity than the other? I think it depends, and I'll get to that later. Aside from that though, I can understand why people would feel personally attacked when a piece of media they think is amazing gets called average. Especially in the age where anxiety and depression reign over younger generations, shows and games are a huge source of comfort and identity to many. And to hear something you relate with so much get called mid makes you feel like you yourself are mid. But why would people have a problem with that? Why would we feel like it's bad to be mid if mid is just average? And I think this is because, well, American culture doesn't like average. You get a 50% average in class, the most middle percentage you could possibly receive. And what letter grade is that? That's an F. You fail. You failed for being mid. The food at your restaurant is just okay. There's a better Brazilian tuna sashimi tostada place down the street that features anime branding. Your restaurant gets shut down. You can't support your family. You failed because you're mid. You're just average at your job and don't have any family in the C-suite of your company. Yeah, good luck getting the promotion or any respect from your hot wife's parents. Yeah, and have fun experiencing your midlife crisis. The point in your life where everything about you is mid, from your physique to your taste in media to your salary. Wait, just kidding. Just kidding. That salary looks really good. Can I please have a mid salary, please? Even when we're trying to be okay with being average, so many places in society, both from the corporate blob and our chronically online spaces, are telling us not to be. Calling something mid is like saying it doesn't deserve to take up the space it does when so many other shows, games, and restaurants are struggling to exist. So I can see how this term feels insulting, even if it's in essence not intended to. But now let's consider things from the other perspective. People who feel the need to point out when something is mid. Because when people say something is mid, it's common practice to follow up that claim with just flaws about the thing you said is mid. Which is what makes everyone feel like the person making that claim is actually calling it bad instead of just average. But I feel like when people do that, it's because the thing they're claiming is mid is already such a popular or praised IP that they assume everybody already knows all the positive points about it. I mean, yeah, that's probably why Cleebus Plebus over here didn't start his video off with good points about Ghost of Tsushima. Everyone who's played the game already knows it's a beautiful game, but he wants to talk about the flaws that no one's really brought up yet. And I think that half of this need to criticize and call something out when it's overrated is a reaction to the overtly positive nature of modern day internet. Because when people love something, they tend to talk it up without acknowledging any flaws. Or if they do bring up flaws, it's like kind of brushed aside either by the reviewer or the audience consuming the review. And even if you don't like something but try to bring up positive points about it, people question why you had to bring up the fact that you didn't like it in the first place. And then I think the other half of it stems from the demand for better media that I mentioned before. I've talked about this in my past videos, but the full-time working adult does not have much time outside of the confines of the 9 to 5. So to use your time, energy, and /or money on any piece of media that falls below life-changing sometimes feels like a waste of time.
Between bad and infuriating is what I'm calling the forgettable category, because one of the only things worse to me than a product that sucks is a product that's boring.
I personally have other means to watch media, so even though I like to hate on things, I don't really feel like I wasted too many resources if I end up watching mid-media. But I do feel that frustration when it comes to video games and restaurants. Especially as video games are beginning to climb in price, it feels like such an insult to be sold a game that barely registers as fun. So yeah, I wouldn't want any game I purchase for $70 to be mid. It's like $70. That's like almost 10 St. Ives drinkables. I'd have way more fun with that. The same principle applies to restaurants, particularly because I live around Los Angeles, which is the city of overhyped food. It's frustrating to drive half an hour to a restaurant because of traffic, wait an hour in line to receive subpar service because the restaurant's fucking packed, and then pay $20 or $30 for food that just turns out to be only okay. If you are an LA native who feels my pain, I just go to San Gabriel Valley or Cerritos now if I want to eat out. But anyway, I think that's the root of it. As our bills increased from inflation and the multitude of subscription services, it results in the audience expecting increased quality in products. And it's frustrating to have to pay more to receive the same, if not worse, quality things. Point is, while I understand that some internet hermits are quick to call anything they don't like mid, I also do think that the criticism of mid-media stems from us generally progressing in society and wanting more from the media we consume, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Striving for better is how you get better, and I think people need to consider that when they both make criticism and read criticism. And I also think that as the price of a certain product or experience increases, it is more valid to be able to call that thing mid if you feel like it's mid. Because I mean, you put money into that thing and God knows how short we all are on money nowadays. But on that same note, it is completely fine for people to be average because people are not a product with an inflated price tag. And liking mid stuff does not make you a mid person. Because the media you consume is only one part of you. It doesn't make up the entirety of your being. At least I hope not. People are so much more than what they present online, and I think we have to make more of an effort to remember that sometimes. But yeah, those were just some thoughts I thought up on a random afternoon when I was thinking about the word mid after watching Hacks. Oh, I should also mention that I don't use Twitter or my anime list, so you know, that's where my bias comes in. Take it with a grain of salt. Anyway guys, what do you think? Do you feel like mid is equivalent to bad? Do you feel like we are in an age of cynicism? Or do you feel like people don't hate on things enough? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you liked the video, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And if you didn't like the video, well, just leave a "this video's mid" comment below. I know you were gonna do it anyway. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. See, the thing about mid-media is, like, why would I watch hacks when, like, the Paper Mario 1000 Year Door remake is, like, out?